Hello YouTube. So I am, this is the last video in this series, and this one is introducing the Xiaoxiang app. Yeah, Xiaoxiang, whatever they are. And if you go down to the About Xiaoxiang, you get this cute little elephant, and I'm running version 1022. So version 2.1.1022. There is a newer version of the app which I have not gotten to work on anything. It just simply won't connect to any BMSs. This one seems to connect to everything. If you have an older phone, there's another version, which is version 1011, which seems to work better. But for newer phones, of which this one is running the latest version of Android, the 1022 seems to work pretty darn good. So depending on what your phone is, you might need to use the 1011 or the 1022 app. All right, so let's go back to the dashboard. First thing I'm going to talk about is my pet peeves. First one here is you'll notice there's only one temp listed, and yet there's 4 temperature sensors on the BMS. How about listing, I don't know, 4 temperatures? Just a theory I have. The next one is you have a current thing. You display current, but nowhere here is voltage for the battery pack. You have to hit this little up arrow thing, and there's your pack voltage. Just display that. I don't get that. Just display your pack voltage right here. So that's my second pet peeve. Next one is the little lock symbol. So right now, open padlock means that the BMS is turned on, which means that the P- MOSFETs are conducting current. And close the lock, and well, open and close lock doesn't mean on and off to me. So I don't really get that one too much. Closed means that the MOSFETs at P- are now turned off, in which case they don't conduct current. So how about on and off? I don't know, just an opinion. or how about make a set of switch contacts and then you close them, and that means on, because the MOSFETs are acting as switches. So you close the switch contacts, that's on. Whereas a closed padlock or open padlock, that doesn't mean anything to me. And then the next peeve I've got is this little thingy up here. Right now it's displaying OV. How about just say over voltage, or UV, under voltage, or low temp, LT. Just say over voltage, under temperature, over current. Why these 2-letter things which are difficult to understand, and you have to guess at their meaning. Just say what it is. So over voltage, folks. How hard is that? All right, so I think that's all my pet peeves. Oh yes, there's one more. When I touch the little temperature thing, it would be kind of cool if it would display, or cycle through the temps or something, but it doesn't do anything. When I hit the little remainder kilometer thing, nothing happens. When I hit the kilometer or the amp things, they get this little graph. So 2 out of 3 buttons don't do diddly, except for that current one. That's an inconsistency. There needs to be a button to display that graph, not use the current button or the current icon. This little thingy down here I use rarely. Pretty much I ignore it. But you get to see, kind of some meaningless information in my opinion. For the dashboard, I just showed you this little up arrow. So you get to see voltage range, basically low cell to high cell, miles used, all that kind of stuff. Most of that doesn't work because I turned GPS off. Things I care about the most are voltage range and, of course, pack voltage, which should be, in my opinion, on the dashboard. Away. This little icon in the lower right corner, I use this all the time, so it's showing me overall pack status. Last time I charged, how much was charged, cell voltages, high to low, whether there was an overcharge, under voltage situation, things like that. Pretty useful information. And back to the dashboard. Next one is battery state. On this page, about the only thing I ever really look at is those temperatures right there. So this is the only place where I can actually see all 4 temperature settings, whatever they're reading, all 4 temperature sensors. All right, so next page over, this page I look at all the time. So the little green bar graph inside each cell tells me, the overall charge level for each cell. It lists its voltage. You'll see the little circle flash with a B in it, indicating balancing is happening. And if we sit here for a while, we'll get to, there we go. And you'll also see that cells will flash. So like this cell, which is number 10, it's flashing. There you go. You saw 11 flash as well. So that's the lowest voltage cell, and that's the highest voltage cell, and they flash like that to indicate that. If I randomly pick a cell, I get this nice little graph which shows me how it's charging, average voltage and current, things like that. Very useful information. All right, let's go back to battery state. All right, so that's basic information. Go over. So there's your battery voltages, highly useful, and this BMS can handle up to 31 cells. So you'll scroll down to see the rest of them. This third page is of less value to me. Probably the only things I really look for is like the air conditions. So right now I'm showing over voltage a few times, 640 times, because, well, I'm deliberately pushing things to get my low cells up. And so like these first cells 1 through 10, they are slowly coming up, and cells 11 through 20 are all 4.1, 4.6, 4.8 volts. Those ones are over voltage, so I'm overcharging these ones so that 1 through 10 can come up to 4.1 volts, and after a while that will all balance out and it'll be fine. All right, so next page, battery state, parameter view. This one I find highly useful, or highly useless. You get to see about 70% of the settings in the BMS, but you can't do anything here. You can only look. So where we go when it comes up. So about 70%, 75% of all the settings in the BMS that you can access through the Windows app are displayed here, but not all of them. So I guess a bitch is, hey folks, how about list all of the settings, and then how about when I do something, I actually get to change it, and you can't do that either. You need the Windows app, and you need that USB to whatever adapter to be able to get all of those settings. So all I can do is look. It's not all of them, and I can't change anything. So in my opinion, minimal value. I never use that page. Param settings. This one everybody wants, and it's the most important settings for a BMS. So there's your over voltage, under voltage, BMS current, pack capacity, and set those accordingly. So I've got mine set artificially high, so I'm bringing up those low cells and slightly abusing my cells that are already at voltage. And you'll notice I've got my over current set to 300, or my discharge over current set to 300, because this BMS has been highly modded. Should handle 300 amps, no problem. I want to talk about open balance and balance mode. Open balance basically means balance turned on or off. So open means on, and closed means off. Again, kind of oblique language, Chinglish, I guess. How about just say, balance on and balance off? So I don't ever see a reason to not balance my pack, so that's always set to open or on. Balance mode, that can be static or charge. Static means that it balances the pack all the time, and charge balance means it balances the pack only when you are charging. Eventually, I will set this to charge balance, but right now I'm trying to get this brand new Panasonic battery pack all balanced, so I've got it set to static, so I'll get balancing happening all the time. My balance voltage is currently set to 3.95 volts. I'll probably set that realistically a bit lower to 3.9 volts once everything is all done balancing. But right now I'm trying to just keep ahead of whatever the voltage is of my lowest cell, so that cell never balances. I never change the balance precision, and I never change these two settings down here. For overcurrent, I leave those at default. App setting. So in here, most everything is what it is. I leave it turned off because I don't care. The only things I care about, so dashboard temperature is set to temp 1. GPS is off, and I'll explain that in a second. Auto calculate cutoff capacity, I'll explain that. I leave that one on, and I'll explain why in a second. And last cutoff capacity, so it should show me, after a full discharge of the pack, 60 amp hours or 59 or 61 or whatever it actually comes out to be. But it should list that right there. All right, so back to the dashboard and that GPS setting and the auto calculate. So this bar graph and that mile or kilometer number right there are both affected by GPS and by that auto calculate. So this one here, all it needs is the auto calculate. So this little green bar graph here will get more and more accurate as you ride your EV and charge and discharge. It's the BMS is learning the battery pack, so it's not going to be 100% accurate. But it only needs that auto-calculate for that one. This number, however, needs GPS because it needs to be able to actually see how far you've gone, how many kilometers you've gone. And then that number, based on what it detects as far as the actual capacity of the pack, that number is going to change. So let's say that the last time we did this and I had GPS on, I got 100 kilometers out of a charge, a full charge. So that should say 100. And then, as you ride along, you're discharging the pack, and so that number should decrement, all the way down to 0 like it is now. But you need GPS turned on for that, and you need auto-calculate turned on for that. And I don't care. I don't ever want to see speed on here. I don't care about any of that stuff. I really want to know pack status, not anything else. So, I leave GPS off. This is of some value to me, but really pack voltage is far more important to me than anything else here. So, next page is about, so I think I showed this earlier, so you get the cute little elephant. There's a new version of this app, which is version 3.41 or something, which doesn't work with anything. And I'm running the version 2.1.1022 version, which works with phones with newer versions of Android. There is a 1011 app that works with older versions of Android. So anyway, my phone has got the latest version of Android on it, and so I've got the 1022 app on it. And this works with everything, and the same thing for the 1011 app. It works with all the BMSs, no problem. So anyway, that's it. That is the whole entire app in a really quick run-through. This is De-bodgery saying take care, stay healthy, and enjoy the video.